It's time for the Wally and Methot Show. Now, here are your hosts, Brent Wallace and Mark Methot.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wally and Methot Show. I'm Brent Wallace. He's 13-year NHL veteran defenseman Mark Methot. This show is always brought to you by Ridge Rock Brewery. Go to ridgerockbrewco.ca. Order, mix and match beers online. 15% off. Use the Wham Show coupon code. Meth, by the way, they just have a new beer coming out. It's a sour, the dry hop sour. It's here's the official write-up. It's tart, light-bodied, with hints of pineapple, guava, grapefruit, and citrus.
Oh, nice.
And I know you're a big sour guy.
I am. Well, when they're tart, I don't like the sweet ones, but when they're rather a little more tart, maybe a little sour, that's more in my ballpark. So this sounds like a really good beer.
Yeah. So go to ridgerockbrewco.ca. Order up 15% off with your order of Wham Show coupon code. Meth, also to tell you about before we get into some hockey, by the way, Tyler Boucher and Jake Sanderson on the show today. Fun to talk to as their roommates. It's always good when they're both on the show. Is that the Canadian Women's Open is taking place, as we say, the end of this week, by the way. And Brooke Henderson, that's a course you know very well. Obviously, you were a one-time member at the Hunt Club. She's the favorite in this one. And I hope she wins it. Like I'm excited to see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, I know. And they got I know they got dumped on yesterday during the Pro-Am. I was supposed to play in that. I couldn't make it. And then, of course, I think they had to shut it all down. But yeah, with Brooke, I mean, she's so much fun to cheer for. And she's the one thing I'm sure most people have caught on to it now. She's just such a nice person. You know, like I met her on the course when I played in the Pro-Am a couple of years ago, and she's time for everybody. She's ultra focused, but such a nice individual. And I think that goes a long way when you're an athlete, of course, you know, meeting fans and whatnot. And she fits that bill. So
I don't think I've ever told this story. One of my most embarrassing moments is with Brooke Henderson on TV. So they had just, the Sens had signed Brad Fritsch and they were sponsoring him and he was carrying around pucks with the Sens logo and all that stuff.
Yep.
So shortly after, the Sens brought Brooke Henderson to a game to, I don't know if honor her is the word, but they talked to her that day. So I was handed the press release. I didn't really read it. And then TSN said, you're going to interview Brooke in the intermission or whatever it was. And I'm like, okay. So I thought they're sponsoring her. So we're into the interview and I'm like, hey, it must be nice to have, you know, the Sens sponsor you. And I can see the look on her face. And now I'm like, uh-oh. She's like, well, no, they're just honoring me for the day. And she's so nice about it. And I just want to crawl into a hole. Completely embarrassed myself because I was it's my own fault, but I was like, damn it, Brent. So
it's harmless.
She actually handled it very well. So I've always been appreciative of that. And I do wish her well. She can crush a ball. I was watching video today and the sound when a player can hit a ball is one of the great sweet sounds, right?
Yeah, and her takeaway, like it goes all the way back. Like her club is hitting like her like hamstring when she pulls that driver back. It's very impressive. She puts everything into it. Whereas if I myself or you did that, I mean, we're going 300 yards probably to the right or left.
Oh, well, you go right and I always go left. It's if one of us gets it in the fairway, it's like, yes. Nailed it.
I've made it. I can go home now. Yeah.
So by the way, go to sportsinteraction.com if you want to place any bets on the women's CP Canadian Women's Open. Brooke Henderson is the odds-on favorite to win that one. Also, if you sign up, you get 100% welcome bonus. They'll match your first deposit with sports bet credits. Anyway, go to sportsinteraction.com/Wally Methot. Sports Interaction, they are Canada's odds maker. World Juniors wrapped up. I want to know if you would have ever been able to make the play that Mason McTavish made to save the gold medal.
Yeah, that was insane. That was beautiful. I mean, a lot of play. No, in fairness, a lot of players can have the hand-eye coordination to whack a puck out of midair. But the way I'm looking at it is like to do that, you know, under that kind of pressure and just happen to be right there at the net front. Yeah, what do you say? I mean, it's a huge moment and happens to be a guy that's a friend of the show. We've had him on now, and he's a great dude. Huge fan of Mason McTavish, and I watched a lot of him play. I watched a lot of his play over the last season, and I covered a couple of the junior games too. So, I mean, it couldn't happen to a better guy, really. And he's obviously been everywhere. Wally, he's played in the American League, he's played World Juniors, he's played in the NHL. I mean, you name it. So good for him. Good for Team Canada. It was a nice way to sort of, it's nice to see the kids get the opportunity to finish off the tournament the way they did. The timing, obviously not fantastic, but I think in the end, everybody was happy that it went on because that final game was incredible.
He was dominant. One of the things I remember watching that play and going, I try to, you tell your kids like never give up or whatever. Like he just didn't quit on the play. That puck should have gone in.
Well, and you mentioned dominant. I mean, it's just unfair for some of these players that have been playing with men, right? Like they've been playing at the NHL level for a little bit and then in the American League. So, that it gives you such a huge advantage because then when you go back down to, let's say, junior, for example, everything's just a little slower, or rather a lot slower. And, the players aren't necessarily as strong and maybe, mentally when it comes to playmaking, they're not there. So guys like Mason McTavish have the upper hand virtually everywhere. And you got to think that he'll be full-time in the National Hockey League next season.
Yeah. And I remember Dave Cameron, I spoke to him in July and I was like, you're not going to get the same guys back, obviously. And he's like, no, but he said, Mason McTavish has asked me and pleaded that he wants to come to this tournament. So he wanted in all the time.
Well, you look at him, right? Like when you look at him physically, you think, boy, like this guy's going to be a killer. He's got that look in his face. He's pretty strong and he's developed for his age, but he's got a skill set. I mean, a legitimate skill set. And I know we're not talking Sens stuff, so some people may not care for this conversation, but I'll wrap it up with this. I'm really impressed with what he can do offensively. I mean, they were watching them work the power play and seeing him and his instincts around the net front. Very hard to defend against guys like him because he's not shy to get his nose dirty and get right in there. And he has the ability to finish.
And people do like it because he's from Carp and he's a good Carp lad.
He's a good old Carp lad. Yeah.
And you can catch him every once in a while at the Ridge Rock Brewery located
there
in
you
Carp. Go. By the way, Dave Cameron, you got to think for or feel for Dave Cameron or be happy for him.
Super happy for him.
Right?
Yeah.
Here he is, 2011. Now, granted, he didn't make this very easy because in 2011 they had the 3-0 lead. They lost in the third period. They go into this one 2-0, and you can feel it. You can just feel the momentum shift a bit, and you're like, now it's 2-2, and you're going to overtime. Like, Dave, could you not have made this any easier on yourself? But congrats to him.
Hugh, like I could not be happier for Cameron. Such a classy guy, and I know Wally, you've got a soft spot for him too. But just at that level, like when you see comebacks and stuff like that. Well, especially at the level that they're playing at, with all the best players from that peer group, that age group, there's only so much you can do as a coach, right? You're going to give them the game plan. But when I'm seeing comebacks, that's not always on the coach. That's a couple brain farts and some young kids that aren't fully developed yet and haven't necessarily learned all the ins and outs of the game. And so when I did see Dave finally get that, that gold medal and seal that victory, legitimately, I was so excited for him. So hats off to Dave Cameron. Congratulations.
And typical Dave, if you look at the team photo, I think it's the team photo that's, the one they take on the ice that's around the trophy. He's at the back and you can barely see him because that's the way he always was.
Hey, that's him. That's him in a nutshell, really. I mean, he gets heated. He gets fired up. He doesn't like it when you talk back. Most coaches, most coaches don't.
Most people don't.
But he is selfless in that regard, right? Yeah. Like when you see him in his interactions, he's always making it about the players. And he's such a well-spoken guy that he could probably run with it a little bit and kind of take advantage of those situations. But no, he leaves it up to the guys to reap all the rewards. And again, I'm repeating myself. Congratulations, Dave.
And finally, congratulations to Ridley Gregg. Although, I mean, you feel for him.
The last,
if anybody,
2 games.
He's dominating. He's arguably outside Mason McTavish, the best player for Team Canada. I'm not sure that's
debated. No. This year for sure. Yeah. Going into the tournament, I don't think people expected that much, but then seeing him compete like that compete level that he has, coaches drool over that shit. And man, he's going to be a good player if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. And that's an innocuous play. Like if I'm sure you've seen it, is he just gets bumped, right? That's not one that they've driven him into the boards.
That was a big Swiss player that run into him too.
No question. I mean? But it's kind of open ice where you don't know that it's going to be, I guess, that damaging, and it just.
And that's my concern when I watch these. Like, this is like hot take. You can get mad at me all you want. I've been around the game long enough. I played with a guy in Columbus. He got to Columbus before virtually any other player in my age group. His name was Dan Fritchie. Played with him in junior, won the Memorial Cup with him as well. He actually came back to London during the NHL lockout year. We recruited him and he played with us, an NHL player playing on the Mem Cup team. So anyway, my point is he always had shoulder issues and it lingered with him for years when inevitably he had to retire. I'm not suggesting that's what's happening here with Ridley. I'm not saying that, but you know, you see stuff like this at that age. And because I thought I read somewhere online, Wally, and I wasn't sure. I didn't want to bring it up during the interview, but you know, like, is that could be a reoccurring issue. And that's something that should be a concern. I mean, obviously we hear that he's going to be back for camp, but you know, stuff like that tends to happen over and over again when you've had multiple shoulder issues. Same thing happens with your knees. I'm hoping that he has a very good recovery and that they're very patient with him because we see what can happen. It can happen quick.
Well, I guess the bonus is that there isn't surgery required at the moment. So
exactly.
And we'll see him at camp. He'll miss the rookie tournament, but we'll see him at main camp. And so I again, but though I don't think he was going to play in the National Hockey League this. Now, let me put a caveat to that. If the Ottawa Senators are in a fight for a playoff spot, I don't believe Ridley Gregg is going to be called up to be put in. If the Sens are out of it, I think then they find some time and let him play a game as reward.
Yes, and that's actually not a bad point, Wally. And I'll go one further and I'll say, you know, people love to make projections, and yes, we do that too, right? It's fun. Yeah. You like to kind of figure out, okay, I think this so-and-so, these are the puzzle pieces. But when it comes to these bubble players like Ridley Gregg, when I say bubble players that don't necessarily have a guaranteed spot, you like, there's nothing guaranteed here. Like it all comes down to their training camp. You know, I saw Brandstrom's name floating around on some pages, you know, on Twitter as far as projections go. And I'm like thinking there's potential there, but all this comes down to training camp. It doesn't matter what they did last year. All the fringe guys need to be terrific or excellent even in training camp. The exhibition games is their lifeline. So all these projections that we're making mean absolute squat when it comes down to it. It's going to come down to how they perform in camp and what the brass sees from up top.
I completely agree. And we've seen it a couple of times. I guess I'll never forget, but I just remember recently, like Colin White was a healthy scratch on opening night because they found, you know, it's someone else they wanted to play in that roster spot where you think, well, he's a guaranteed contract spot. He's going to make the team. We see it all the time.
And it's funny because you go to camp and I feel like these general managers and head coaches have it recited where you go there and they give you this little spiel during the meeting when all the players in main camp are together in the room and they give you a talk. They kind of scare the shit out of you a little bit. And then at the end, they always kind of cap it off with, well, the best players are going to play on this team this year. The best players. Spots are available. They're open. If you can beat out an older guy, that spot is yours. 99% of the time, it's complete horseshit. So I've experienced it where I was told I was going to make the team in Columbus. This was years back. And I inevitably got sent right after camp because the numbers didn't work out. So the only way you will make that team and bump out a vet is if you play out of your mind and they have absolutely no choice but to hold you. And that's why I put so much emphasis on training camp for some of these players, you know, in particular, because that's how important it is.
I agree. That's why like Jake Sanderson's interesting to me, only for the fact that he's not guaranteed a spot. It looks like he is. That's based on the talent level, but
and that's one outlier though, Wally. You know, like, is he not? Because they're so thin back there and he's so highly touted that I feel like he does have a guaranteed spot.
Let me throw this at you then. And we and I haven't discussed this before is if Eric Brandstrom gets signed, comes to camp, has an amazing camp, do you not find a spot for him in the roster? Maybe he bumps somebody. Like, what if perhaps
these are a lot of these are big what ifs.
Well, that's what we do though. We project stuff. That's
well,
otherwise we wouldn't have anything to talk about until they made the roster. No. Like, okay, well, here's the roster.
Like, what are we doing? Listen, I want to be clear. I've said this before, and I know I can come across as a little critical when it comes to Brandstrom and some other players in particular, but with Brandstrom, I'm a huge fan of the individual. You know, I know that he's a well-liked guy. He's a really good dude. You know, I've always said this with him, you know, at that size, at 5'9" or whatever it is on defense, especially, unless you're going to be so incredibly dynamic offensively, like an Erik Karlsson or whoever else you could think of, a Makar in the league now, some of these younger defensemen coming in, unless you're that dynamic offensively, there's always going to be other players that are going to bump you out because they're not as small. They're going to be a little stronger, a little more imposing, probably better just by default because of their size defensively. So, like I watched Sanderson and I made fun of you, Wally, for the tape that you sent me, some of the clips, but they were great video because I was watching Sanderson and some of those clips defend. And it's what a difference. Like body positioning. He just looked strong and confident. Like, you know what I mean? And that's with a bad hand. So when you present me with a question like, well, what if Eric Brandstrom has this unbelievable camp? I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see anybody beating out Sanderson. I think it's Sanderson's spot to lose at this point. He's an exception to the rule.
I'm with you. I just don't know what's going to like. And my point is, like DJ Smith says, everybody is the best player is going to make the team type deal. That's all I'm saying.
And coaches have to say that, they got to give people hope. So I'm not shitting on coaches or general managers for saying it. I just find it funny because oftentimes it's not the case.
There's also we're going to give the junior guy the 9 games before burning his contract, or we're going to give somebody else a look at the beginning. So there might be some moves at the beginning with a little bit bigger roster just to give guys a chance, or there's a bump and a bruise in an exhibition game. And we're only, by the way, a month away.
And that's the difference this year, though. I think there's so much pressure on this organization to come off to a good start that you're going to see DJ probably lean on a lot of veterans to start off with because he doesn't have the trust in some of these younger players that potentially probably should be there in some cases, depending on their training camps, but he simply won't do it because they just need to win. Now, that's the catch-22 or the irony in this whole thing is that some of these younger guys may in fact help you out more, but it's winning that coach's trust over that can be very difficult and it takes time.
Tomorrow's headline will read Nikita Zaitsev going to play 30 minutes a night for DJ Smith.
Hey, I'm not saying that. Okay. Listen, and with Zaitsev, I'm not sold on him. I think it's time to move on from him because it's fucking chaos when he's on the ice. Like it's just chaos. He's got the tools, like he can move. His compete level's excellent. I'm not taking that away from him. But he just can't seem to settle the puck down when he's on the ice. And everything's just like a crazy, it's just pucks off the glass. It's overworking a little too much. And anyway, we're going to get into this as we get closer to camp. I don't want to get into too much detail, but I mean, it's wide open on defense right now, in my opinion.
I agree. I totally agree with you. By the way, looking to refresh the front yard or do a complete landscape makeover. Need some landscape stone aggregate, maybe thinking of redoing the driveway. Boucher Excavating is here to help. Competitive pricing on your landscape needs. Give them a call. 613-432-1120. Go to BoucherExcavating.com. BEI, helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. Meth, enough of us. Let's get to today's interview guest. That's Tyler Boucher and Jake Sanderson, who are roommates. They've gone through injuries together this summer. They're now skating together, and I'd like to get into that and with what they've got to talk to. And they're pretty good dudes. So it's fun to chat with. Coming up after, we'll bring in Craig and we're going to talk about the cartoon that was made by our good friend, Daryl Quinlan. And you've got some fatherly advice. You're watching the Wally and Methot Show, brought to you by Ridge Rock Brew Co. Welcome into the show, roommates, but they happen to be on separate cameras today. Jake Sanderson, Tyler Boucher, welcome to the show, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know what, Jake? I'm going to start right away and get it out of the way, and that is your wrist, because everybody likes to talk about that and where we stand. So just can you give us an update on the wrist, and will you be 100% ready to go for the season?
Yeah, no, my wrist has been feeling pretty good lately, honestly. A couple weeks ago, I started skating with a stick and just slowly stick handling, and now I'm pretty close to 100%. Just skating with Boucher and other guys here in Ottawa. But no, it feels really good, and I'm really close. I know that, so I'm pretty happy with how it's been.
Yeah, Sandy, Wally was taking video, like he was like some creepy guy behind the glass and sending us videos of you guys, which was good, but it looked like you looked pretty fluid and comfortable, like just moving the puck around. So you're not really getting any discomfort on passes and stuff like that, like for the most part?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's just at this point, it's just getting the strength back. Kind of like one thing I'm kind of struggling with right now is just like one hand on my stick, like defending and moving my stick with one hand, but it's getting better every week, honestly. And yeah, another thing is like I used to have a huge callus on my hand and now I don't have it because I didn't hold a stick for like 5 months. And so I got to build up that callus because like my skin is just getting torn apart right now. So I got to get that going.
Like right on the inside of your palm?
Yeah, like right on my.
Yeah.
Nice. I don't have that problem. The other thing with Boucher, like, are you ready to roll here as well? You come in, I saw you yesterday skating, and I took some video. You are a giant human being. You look bigger. Are you bigger than perhaps last year?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I know, like I've said this in like a lot of podcasts, like just with like the injuries I've had, like it's been hard to kind of get like I guess like a rhythm going, like even with my training. Like this summer was like awesome because like here with guys like Sandy and Rids and a bunch of other guys, but could finally like train like full. I mean, we tweaked some things, but like I could finally train. So yeah, I mean, I'm up like I weighed myself at the end of the 67s year last year. I was like 193. That's like really low for me. And I'm like weighed myself the other day, like 208, 209. So
Nice.
kind of like fluctuates, but yeah, I'm up a lot. So I feel good.
What's the ideal? Doesn't even matter to me, but what's the ideal weight for you? Did you have like any kind of target?
Yeah, like the highest I've been was like 215, and that was like a little much. I like 205. I feel quick and like explosive at that, but like still strong. Like under 200, it's like I don't really like it that much. I don't feel as strong, but like 205, like 200 is a good weight.
When you put the guy through the glass at the 67s game, what was your weight then?
Like 195, 194, somewhere around there. Like I wasn't that big.
Is that one of your favorite hits?
Yeah, it's got to be up there. I mean, it's satisfying seeing the glass just like fall. I mean, I felt a little bit bad because the glass like went all like down his like shoulder pads or whatever, but whatever. I mean, it was definitely it was definitely up there. Like the boys had it on repeat after in the locker room. We were all laughing about it in like that 30-minute intermission we had, but that's got to be up there for sure.
See, and that's
bent the stanchion.
I was gonna add to that, like the challenge just on that weight there, Wally. Like imagine a 210-pound power forward playing in the OHL. Like assuming, I don't know where you're gonna end up, Tyler, but like, is that something you think about? Like, oh man, I'm gonna have to go play with junior kids again this year.
I mean, yeah, like I think about it. Like obviously, like going into camp, I'm like, I tell myself like I want to make the Sens. Like obviously, like that's my goal. But I mean, if I go back to junior, like it's not the end of the world. I think it'd be good for me actually. And I mean, I think like you said, like yeah, if I go back there, I should be able to dominate like physically and on the ice. So I think either way, it's not bad. So I'm excited for any way it goes.
Good.
Are you excited to see Dave Cameron back, perhaps as your coach, just coming off his gold medal win?
Yeah, I know. All the staff's going to be in a good mood when we get there off a gold medal. So yeah, excited to see him. He's a great coach. A really good guy and really good to the players. So thankful to be a player for him, and excited for that.
I know you played 24 games plus the playoffs with them. Meth, you played with him for 2 years, I think it was. Like, do you have any advice for Dave Cameron, the NHL coach, for Tyler Boucher?
Yeah, just listen to him and try not to talk back to him. He doesn't like that. I've been in that position. So, but no, he's a very smart guy. He's incredibly sarcastic. He's got a dry sense of humor. I mean, all the guys know him well enough to know how to kind of communicate with him, but that's generally how he is. He can be intense, but he's an easygoing guy if you just sit there and listen to him and do what he wants you to do.
No, 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I don't know how much YouTube read social media or watch it or deal with it. I know everybody's on it. Jake, do you feel the pressure of being on the roster this season and having some kind of top four defensive role that everybody talks about? Is that fair to you?
I don't know. I think like with the social media stuff, like people can say whatever they want these days. They can just, hide themselves behind a phone and say whatever. But I think it's honestly kind of a blessing to have that kind of pressure. It kind of elevates my game a little bit too. So I kind of like it, honestly.
Interesting. So that's a rare person to say that they kind of thrive on it. Do you always thrive like under the pressure, if you will?
Yeah, because I think like like if you look at that social media stuff and just like you wake up in the morning, you're tired, you can kind of just use that as fuel and get to the gym and just get after it. And I think, like I said, I think that kind of pressure, some people don't like it, some people do, but I think for me, I kind of just thrive on like to prove people wrong.
Sandy, how do you feel? How do you feel then? We were talking to Tyler about his weight and where he's at right now with you. I mean, were there meetings that you had going into the summer as far as what the expectation level was as far as your training goes, or what to expect here at the NHL level coming up? Because I know, and Wally mentioned it, there are some big expectations, right? So how do you manage that as far as now you're playing with men, guys that have families, potentially? What's your plan with that?
Yeah, no, like you said, next year is going to be a totally different year just from playing college to the NHL. And I think at my year in meeting, Pierre and DJ, one thing they said just for me to get a little bit bigger and stronger. And I've gained like 10 pounds this summer. So I feel like I've done, kind of all I can with that stuff. I feel really good. And I'm like 197, 196 right now. And I kind of like where that's at right now. Just stay a little quick and nimble on my feet. So I'm happy with where I'm at.
Are both of you excited to get through last season after it seemed either one of you had injuries, or, I mean, Tyler, you went through COVID and at the border and then playing in Belleville and playing it, like you were everywhere. I can't imagine what the two of you dealt with last year. And then Sandy, the last part is, was it tough to watch the World Juniors knowing that, I mean, arguably you should have been there or probably would have gone had you not been injured?
Yeah, no, I think for the both of us, me and Boucher, we both didn't play a lot of games last year. And I think, we're both so excited to be here in Ottawa and, get to work and, just prove people and show everyone the players that we are. And I think it's great that we're roommates this summer just so we can kind of feed off each other and that energy. So we've been having a blast. I know that.
Okay, what do you guys do? Like, I'm always curious when two young guys are living together, because I've been there. I know what it's like. Like, aside from the extracurriculars, like, but when you're around the house, you guys playing video games, watching TV? Do you guys fight over the TV? What's that like?
You want me to take this one, Sandy, or you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just gonna say, like, we've had a pretty like bland summer. Like, I don't really have anything exciting. Like, we kind of just like we'll just hang out. We kind of enjoy just like after we get back, like we'll hang out or whatever. We played a lot of tennis. I mean, we
went
probably
to the
would have golfed.
draft.
Yeah, I went to the draft. Yeah, that was fun. We probably would have like golfed more, but obviously with Sandy's hand. But I mean, we go out to dinners and stuff. We make a lot of dinners, so we have fun kind of doing it that way. And kind of we're just, I don't know, I guess low key guys. We just kind of like
Who's cooking? Who's cooking?
We kind of like rotate. Like when
Sandy
Ridley
more.
was with us for June, I think Boucher and I would kind of make the dinners, and Rids was the protein shake guy. Kind of switch it up a little.
Rids would hop on the scale every like 2 minutes after he takes a sip of his protein shake. His weight went up.
Oh, is he like pretty anal with that stuff? Like, he's like trains and like counts his macros and his like calories every day?
Well, no, Rids is he's like a super hard worker, and he's really dialed in. So like he just cares a lot. So
yeah.
It's just fun. Like I'm just giving it to. I just like giving it to him. But yeah, no, that was funny. He was definitely the protein shake guy. Made like
Nice.
4 a day.
I don't know if he's coming back to live in the house because the three of you did live together. Will there be him just wearing the gold medal around, seeing as the two of you are Americans?
Well, I think he's actually coming next week, and Pinner's also coming next week too. So we might have a couple guys in the house. But no, I think I'm happy that Rids won. We know that he was grinding with us this summer too, so it's cool to see that, and he played so well too, so it was fun.
Did you? Yeah, and I mean, the two of you went through the injury. Like, did you feel for him not being able to play in the gold medal game? Obviously, did you have a chat with him at all?
Yeah, we would text him. We got like a little group chat on the side. But yeah, like Sandy said, like he was playing so good, and we were just excited to watch him out there. And I mean, it's not a major setback, I think, for him. He's had a great summer and a great tournament, so I think he should be fine.
Sandy, who would you rather see coming down the wing, Boucher or Ridley?
You know the answer.
I don't know. They're both pretty intimidating. No. I don't know. They're kind of different players. I think Boucher is just so powerful and fast, and Rids is fast and has sick skill. So they're both sick at certain things.
Ridley Gregg more skilled is what he just said, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I kind of took that one to heart.
No, but you're bigger. You're bigger.
Then you can change the question. So who would you rather defend, who has the puck on his stick, and versus a guy who's dumping it and chasing it and hounding you on rush?
That's a totally different question. I think if Boucher dumps it in on me, probably I don't want that. But then Rids on the rush, so I don't want that.
There you go. So everybody wins in this case. That's why I did that. All right.
All right, Boucher, are you allowed to drive the Mustang?
Yes.
Oh, good question.
That is a good
Not
question.
with me in the car, though.
Not with Sandy in the car. He won't be in there with me. But yeah, I know I've been getting tired of my car. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just fun to whip around the Mustang. So I've taken it for a couple spins. Not this week, Sandy. Sandy needs an oil change.
I do need an oil change.
We'll go see our good friends at Brave and Ford. So Tyler, if you got a new car, since you aren't fond of yours at the moment, what would you get?
No, I'm grateful for my car. It's like perfectly fine. But if I had to pick a car, like any car,
yeah,
any car.
Well, okay. What sort? One that you can afford.
Like a Prius, maybe. Like I
don't... He wants a Lambo. He won't shut up about the Lambos.
Yeah, like those Lamborghini trucks. I think they're so cool. Like that's my.
Yeah, they're nice.
Okay, if you're gonna ask me for my dream car, like that's it. But like, I don't know how that would work in Ottawa, but maybe something a little different.
They're around. They're around. My neighbor has one. They're really nice. They're very nice.
I've seen a few around here, but like, yeah, like I think they're sweet. Like that'd be my dream car. Like,
I saw one. I want to say at Bell Sensplex yesterday. Like, is there a red one driving around? Maybe. Anyway. So Sandy, are you a big car guy? Is that why you've got the Mustang?
No, I'm not. Honestly, they're lending it to me for like a couple weeks, and when they told me I could choose like a Mustang or a Bronco, I kind of like, I'm never gonna have a Mustang in my entire life, so might as well just have fun with it.
Yes, you will. It's a good call, though. I would take, yeah, absolutely. If it's I guess in the evening, are you guys a TV group? Are you video games? What do you guys do if you're chilling around the house?
Like Sandy doesn't play video games. It's kind of weird, but so we'll watch like TV shows and movies. So like I have my Xbox set up, so we use it for like TV shows and stuff. Like we never play like Xbox or anything, but yeah, definitely TV shows. It's like one after another.
Sandy, weren't you playing NHL against Brady when you lived there for the laundry rights?
Yeah, that was for like 3 days, and then he went on a road trip, and then I wasn't gonna play by myself, so we kind of just ditched that.
So you just did the laundry?
Yeah, no, but here when Rids was with us, we would get home from the rink and just sit on the couch for like 8 hours and watch Stranger Things. That was fun. That's a sick show. So
I didn't like it after the second season, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we had to have some discipline, like turning it off. Like sometimes we're like, all right, it's like 8 o'clock. We should probably cook dinner or something like that. But
okay. What's the worst meal Tyler Boucher has made?
It wasn't a meal, but we were like making a shake, and we have like a Ninja, and you can like take out the spikes where it like spins and clean it. And he like loaded everything in the shake and then realized the like spikes weren't in there. So then he like dipped his hand in the shake and like grabbed everything out and then put the spikes back in. It was disgusting.
Do you still drink it?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, that's good. So what's the worst that Sandy has made, Tyler?
Like the worst meal?
Yeah.
Ooh. Honestly, like I hate to pump his tires, but he hasn't had a bad one. Like I came home from the airport like last week, was it, Sandy?
Yeah.
and he had like 2 steaks ready for me, like chicken kebab and like rice. So I can't complain.
That's pretty good. How do you like your steaks?
Medium rare.
Ugh,
Weirdo.
terrible. Meth, are you a medium rare guy?
Yeah. Are we still talking about steaks here?
Absolutely. Do you not like steak anymore?
Yeah. Wally likes to burn his fucking steaks, and that's essentially what's going on here. So that's why he's brought it up.
I just wanted to know how they like their steaks. Is there any games that you guys play that's ultra competitive?
Like we went through a phase where we'd play like tennis for like 4 hours a day, and we'd just be dripping, but that's about it.
Is there bets on the line?
That was pretty intense, actually.
Yeah.
Those games we'd sometimes get a crowd there at the park.
That's, did you two know each other? I know you. So your two dads played in Phoenix very briefly, I think at 05, 06. And I think, Sandy, you were way too young. But do you guys ever remember each other as young kids, or were you always not till later did you meet?
Yeah, I don't remember anything when we were younger, but just when Boucher came to the program as 17 year, that was probably the first time we met. And his draft year too was during the summer showcase for the World Juniors. So we had like a big draft room with all the guys, and that's kind of when I got really close with Boucher when he got drafted.
Nice. Both of you wanted to be goalies when you were younger. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, Boucher, I can understand. I don't get the Sanderson part.
Yeah,
I
Go ahead, Sandy.
Yeah, I don't know why I wanted to be a goalie, but thank God my parents didn't let me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have worked out.
Yeah, like obviously my dad was a goalie, so like he would get like I had my own Vaughn pads and like they had my name on them, and I like thought that was like super sick. But like I used to play, and then like I didn't want to, thank God, like Sandy said, and also my mom was like, no chance, like we're like switch it up, like we can't do that again. So thankful for my mom for saying that, and thank God I'm not a goalie.
No. Did Joe Thornton shot have anything to do with you not wanting to be a goalie? And so I'll let you tell the story of being on the ice with Joe Thornton.
All right, yeah, I'll start from the beginning. It's kind of hard for me to remember fully, but I was in kindergarten in San Jose, and like I used to get super pumped when like my dad would bring me to the rink because I just like loved being around like the guys. Like obviously I just like mess around with the rink with like other guys like kids or whatever. But yeah, I got to go out on the ice, and like everyone's shooting around. Like you just get out there, like, you know how it is. And I'm in net, like I'm just like a little guy, like I'm in kindergarten. I got my pads on, and you know some guys are just coming in like throwing sauce at like my pad or like making me feel good. And like I think my dad was stretching on like the blue line or whatever by the boards, like just got out there, and Jumbo just comes over the blue line, I think it was, and just tees one up like bomb, like right off the crossbar into the ceiling. I think like everyone just went silent. My dad was like not like mad, but he's just like what are you doing, Jumbo? Like you could have killed him. Like if it hit me, I probably would have died. But but no, thankful for that. I'm not a goalie, so it was good. But that's definitely a funny memory I have, and yeah, I'll never forget that. It's funny.
That's so good. So what's your like now, Sandy, were you around the rink as well? Like what's your guys' favorite moments of being able to grow up in an NHL environment?
I can't remember a lot, but I think just kind of what Boucher, just like being in the dressing room, and like I remember in Phoenix, Philly it was, when my dad, like the floor in the dressing room was like a hockey rink, and I remember I'd like bring my mini stick and like play on the dressing room floor. That's kind of something I remember.
That's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I remember a lot actually. Like that's kind of when I like I guess fell in love with hockey. Like just kind of being able to be around that my dad would take me to the rink like all the time. So it was awesome. And just getting to see like obviously guys you look up to like in the locker room and hanging out with their kids or whatever. It's way different than like a normal like kid experience, I guess, like kind of on the outside looking in. But when you get to experience it from a young age, it's kind of like you feel like you're almost meant to do this as well. And you kind of fall in love with it. So yeah, I mean, just seeing like a bunch of stars. Like I love Danny Briere in Philly. Like him and Claude Giroux are like my favorite players. Like come playoff time, like they were awesome. And I mean, Chris Pronger was in there. There's so many guys I could name, but just a lot of cool memories that I got to experience and I'm thankful for.
Have you had a chance to speak to Claude and tell him that he was one of your favorite players to make him feel old?
Yeah, I told him that at the skate last week, and then he decided to dangle me in the first drill. No, I've talked to him a couple times though, but yeah, Sandy and I were playing 2v2 and we got worked. We were a little stiff after the turf workout, but that's my excuse. Won't happen again.
He's still like, and I forget. I mean, he's only 34, but I watched one of his first skates this year with Pat Malloy, and he just easily puts took the puck, put it on his skate up to his blade, and it was in the net in like the blink of an eye. Like his skill set is phenomenal.
Oh yeah, he's a sick player.
The excitement level that you guys have surrounding this group coming in, which includes you guys as well, is like, do you guys talk much about the off season and what's transpired?
Yeah, I think like when we were driving up to the draft and we saw that they traded for DeBrincat, I thought that was pretty cool. But honestly, like I think we could both like say our mindset right now is just to try to make the team. That's kind of our goals, and once we do that, then I feel like the rest will take care of itself. But no, it's cool, like seeing guys come in the rink and like meeting NHL superstars. It's pretty sick.
Who is your all-time favorite player? You can't name your dad, obviously. Sandy, I'm going to start with you.
When I was younger, I'd probably say Drew Doughty. He's just sick, and I think like his personality is so unique, and he's kind of just a louder guy, and he's not like the typical like quiet, like bland, I don't know, like player. He's just like he's kind of out there, and I kind of like that about him.
You can just say Claude Giroux, Tyler.
Yeah, I was gonna say him or Danny Briere. Growing up, those are my two guys in Philly. Always get the job done, so it was fun watching them. But now I would say, I don't know. I've been a big Austin Matthews fan for the past couple of years. I think he's ridiculous. So that'd probably be my favorite player to watch now, I would say.
Would you let up on him if you had an opportunity to fold him into a lawn chair?
Oh no. No, I wouldn't, but I know I'd have to be ready to answer the bell, but that's fine. I definitely wouldn't let up, but yeah.
That's a good answer. All right. That's all I
had. You talk about these summer skates, and two of the guys that run it are Sean Donovan and Jesse Winchester, who are years older than both of you. But the one thing I always hear about the two of them is how good they still are on the ice. Have you played 2v2 with them?
I have.
Oh yeah, Dono and Winchy, they love jumping in with us, but they always jump in like when we're tired and they're so fresh, so it looks sick. So it's kind of unfair.
Yeah, I'm like can't even catch my breath, and then they hop in, dominate us.
Yeah, and they're not wearing gear, right? Like they're in a tracksuit.
No, so you can't shoot it like through the legs. You got to wait till like
you can't touch them, shot. And that's exactly. Like what 20 pounds of gear that they're not wearing either. So
yeah, exactly.
Maybe not 20, but yeah.
Sounds like an excuse. But those like what's Sean Donovan like for you guys this summer? And I think Tyler throughout the year he's been talking to you while you've been in Ottawa, just I guess on a weekly basis. I don't think he gets enough credit, so I'm just curious to what Sean Donovan's like for you.
Yeah, I can start. Dono's been super helpful, obviously, being in Ottawa now. It's pretty nice. I got the convenience of Dono and Winchy right there, but obviously tips and little things throughout the season, and then kind of When we came into the summer here, we're just like working on a lot. Like one thing for me that sticks out that he told me was kind of I just overhandle the puck sometimes a little bit, maybe before I shoot. So now it's kind of just more of a catch and a quick shot instead of like dusting it off. So I've seen a big change in that. And yeah, I mean, every skate we do, he's giving me tips and just helping me get better. So I can speak for both of us, but yeah, we're super thankful for them, and they've been a great help this summer.
Do you enjoy his skates, Jake?
You know, they're very tough, especially when Donald's running it, but they find a good balance. I think when she's more of the skill and in the mitts and the shooting guy, and Donald's more of the turn back in the corners type of guy. But no, it's good to have a balance of both of them. And like Boucher said, they both played in the NHL, so they have that mindset. They know what it takes. So everything they're doing is for a reason. And you know, like you said, we're super grateful for them.
Eric Carlson, Norris Trophy winner, skates with you right now, at least for I don't know, it's been a few weeks at least. Do you talk to him much about playing D or anything? Do you try to pick his brain?
You know, I only met him once, but I feel like as the weeks go on, I feel maybe I'll get a little more comfortable and speak up and maybe say something to him and ask him some questions. But it's pretty sick what he can do on the ice, and you know, he's such an effortless skater, and yeah, he's just nasty.
Tyler, if you had a chance to change your number from 54, what would you take? Would you go 13?
I would go 13. I'm not really too picky, to be honest with numbers. Like I have like a bunch that I would wear. But yeah, I would go 13.
Is there a reason why 13 is always considered North America unlucky? In Europe, it's actually a number that's well liked. Is there a reason why you go with 13?
Yeah, well, my mom's birthday. So I remember the first time I wore it was my 18s year at NTDP, and I was wearing it, and then I was like, I don't know, like this seems pretty like unlucky, and then she was like, no, it's fine. And then I thought I was playing good that year, so I decided to go back with it, and I like the way it looks on the jersey, and it's for her, so I guess it's a win-win.
Yeah, you're set for life. Sandy, I know you. I know you'd like 8, obviously, but will you stick with 85 throughout your career now, since it's such I'll call it unique for the most part?
Yeah, I mean, my old man wore 8, so my whole life I've been wearing that. But and I think 85, like you said, it's unique, and not a lot of guys wear it in the league. So whatever team I'm playing on, I feel like 85 will always be open. So yeah, I'll probably take it.
I have a question that we like to ask all of our individuals, and that is, what is your favorite cheat snack? If you're watching Stranger Things, Tyler, what do you sit down with for a snack?
Like just a snack, or like if I had to get like a cheat meal or whatever.
Or it could be like a shit meal too. Like what's something that you know is terrible for your body, but you have it once in a while.
All right, yeah. I love McDonald's. I don't care what anyone says.
Like, I'm with you.
Okay. Like if I'm gonna treat myself or whatever, like I don't have it a lot, but if I do, like McDonald's, like I love McDonald's.
What do you go with? What's the burger?
I used to get like 2 Big Macs, but
Nice.
I know, but now my roommate actually introduced me to the regular cheeseburger with Big Mac sauce, so I'll just get like 4 of those and like
dress like a Mac. Yeah,
that's
a good one too.
Yeah,
nice.
It's nice. It's nice and light, and then like maybe a large fry and like a milkshake. I feel like dying after, but like it's
terrible.
So nice. Yeah, you feel great when you're eating it, but like, and the next day it's like not even worth it. But if I had to pick one, like that's definitely like my cheat meal, I would say.
Sandy, what about you?
I like goldfish, but they got these you know.
What are you, 12?
You know the restaurant at Joey's in Lansdowne, the restaurant, they got these sliders,
Yes.
And
I've had them.
sometimes I'll DoorDash them, but when we go there for dinner, I'll have like 3 to 6. They're so good. Brady's the one who introduced me to them.
Oh,
Nice.
Sandy, who's your favorite roommate? You've had Brady, Ridley Gregg, and Tyler Boucher. If you had a choice to just live with one, who are you picking?
I don't know. That's tough. I think Brady and Boucher are a little louder, and maybe I'll have to drag them out of the door to get going. But I think Rids is super quiet, so that's kind of nice as well. So they're a little different. I don't want to answer.
That's pure captain material. Who's the messiest roommate you've had?
Boosh.
Come on.
He's
Really?
Come on, dude. Let's be honest.
All right. I am, but like I am kind of messy, but I do clean up. Like I will.
Like 4 days later, though.
Oh,
Okay.
That's the worst.
Not 4. It's not 4 days. It's like 4. It's like 4 hours.
Okay, fair enough.
Now that
But
I've
I
ended
do
this
clean
friendship, do you guys go anywhere? Like, have you gone to any museums, any of that stuff downtown? Do you walk around downtown?
We've gone to the mall a couple times. I'm trying to think. Can't really remember.
Yeah, no, we haven't. More, yeah, we just go to the mall and like stores down there if we're going to grab a bite to eat, something like that. But other than that, no, we haven't. We got to explore a little more.
Fair enough. Last question I have for both of you is, you've probably been asked before. Did you get fatherly advice at any time? Like, has there been anything that's really stuck with you as you guys continue your journey here towards the NHL?
Boosh, you can go.
All right, I'll go first. Yeah, one thing that stuck with me, well, like growing up, like me and my dad would always play like sports together. So like, and he's like an ultra competitor. Like he'll snap if he loses, or like I do too. We're kind of like the same in that regard. But I mean, like the compete that he's shown me is one of the biggest things. But also he told me when I was like 13 or 14, just to get 1% better every day, no matter what that is. So that's the biggest thing that's kind of stuck to me. And like if you're having a bad day on the ice or whatever and it's not going your way, just like fight through it and try to find that 1% instead of just like, I don't know, like giving up and throwing in the towel. So just 1% leads up to a lot over time. So it might be like a slow progression, but eventually like, you'll get there. So that'd probably be the biggest thing he's shown me.
Absolutely. Sandy?
I don't know if it's like words of advice, but I've kind of noticed it lately as I gotten older. With my dad, he kind of, obviously he's retired now, but he's really good at like finding a balance and like not always being like hockey focused, especially in the summer. To like have a balance and like do other things, like other hobbies. Like my dad's always golfing, mountain biking, fishing, hunting, and I feel like that kind of helps. And then when it's time to go to the rink, you're excited and you're not drained at all. So I think that's kind of something that I've seen my dad do. Although he is retired, but he told me a couple of times he'd sneak away at like Christmas break and go skiing a couple of times. But yeah,
good for him. If you, Tyler, if you had 5 pucks and your dad is in goal, how many goals do you score?
5.
Good answer.
No, like right now.
Yeah, right now.
We were talking
I'll let
about
him
this.
Stretch.
We can give him a stretch, but we were talking about this when I was home actually like 2 weeks ago. He said if I had 10 pucks, I wouldn't score more than like 1 or 2, which I disagree with. He used to come out when we were like 12 when he was retired, and I'd light him up. So
very good. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate your time. Wish you all the best. We can't wait to see you guys at camp, and enjoy the rest of your summer. I'm sure I'll see you at the rink. I just won't try and videotape you as much. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate it.
As always, thanks very much to Jake and Tyler. And now welcome into the show, Craig, brought to you by gongshowgear.ca. you look pretty much like the same picture that was drawn
That
by
guy
our
did a
good
good
friend Daryl
job.
Quinlan the other day.
That guy did a good job.
For those who haven't seen it, you can check it out on Twitter on our social media feed. Are either one of you old enough to remember the TV Guide magazine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I used it like religiously
Really?
when I was like, from like 10 to forget what age, because that's how I knew what movies were on at nighttime. Right. So like, I would always look forward to that on like City TV, which would show a little bit more, like there'd be more violence, less editing, or like the Superstation on, I think it was channel 47. So yeah, I remember it. TBS.
All right.
Yeah.
I remember it was a
and-
big deal, right? When it went from like away from TV Guide and you had a channel that would show you like that was, I remember that happening. How old I am. Yes.
I just checked the newspaper because every day there'd be listings.
And it's funny because I played a couple games. Like Boucher was with us for a little bit in Columbus.
Yes.
And Sanderson was there when I was in training camp. I didn't make the team, but I remember walking around and seeing them, and we're interviewing their kids now. It's so weird. And I'm like, I'm 37. I'm not 65. It's bizarre.
Yeah. I meant to ask you, because I know they both played in Columbus. If you,
I was going to bring it up like, hey,
runs.
So I played with both your dads a little bit, and then they both would have looked at me like, cool. Yeah. And then I would have not known where to go with the conversation. So I just kept my mouth shut.
You should have said something.
It's all good.
Is there any issue either one of you may have with the Sens Guide picture that was drawn?
It's awesome.
Yeah, I got no problem with that, man.
It's like so talented, eh? Like, and I laughed at the detail involved. Like every individual has his own like little quirks that have been like taken from the show or from at some point. Like I love that.
He clearly watches a lot.
Yeah. What is the show? The show is I just try the snacks that you guys pitch, like and same with that. Like I'll do that show. Is that you guys pitching that?
He had curds and olive oil. I'm like,
He's ready to roll.
It was good.
All right. So, as I said before we did the interview, do you have Meth fatherly advice? And by the way, your son is 4, Jack, who's now starting into hockey. So this is something I plan to watch now develop because minor hockey is interesting to watch parents go through. Do you have advice that you would give to Jack?
Well, I'm not going to get into the whole parent thing because I'm sure I'll
that's
end up
a whole
in jail
other
at some point. Some parents are just freaking crazy, and I have a very short fuse for that kind of stuff. But hopefully that's down the road and my wife can calm me down. But no, as far as advice goes to like up and coming players, and I remember saying this to Sokolov when he came by to say hi to me when we were doing a broadcast for one of the games. He came down the concourse and we were talking. And I always say this to young players. My problem when I came in was I respected the old players too much. Like I was almost borderline starstruck, and you kind of forget, and it lingers and creeps into your game a little bit when you're playing those exhibition games, or maybe you're a call up and you're playing some NHL games where you're giving too much respect, especially if you're a physical player, a guy like Tyler Boucher, or even Sandy, because he's a defenseman and he's going to have to defend a bit. It's like, F those guys, like forget who they are. You're just as good. You're just as skilled as some of these players. You're probably more skilled than some of the old players, especially with these young players coming into the league. Stick to your game. Don't show them any respect. And it's easier said than done. I understand that. But the ones that figure that out sooner tend to stick around right away. And that's the difference.
You could sense that a bit with Brady, I think, in his first year. Right?
He took a run at me. I still remember it. And I was having a terrible game because I was so distracted playing in Ottawa, right? Like, it's my hometown. I think it was like -3 or something. But I remember during the game, this little fucker just takes a run at me. Like he was a little guy, but like skinny neck, looked like he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
And like took a legitimate run. And I remember just two-handing him in the back, but it wasn't really that hard. And we just continued on. Little did I know that he could handle himself pretty well. So I may have dodged a bullet. I don't know. But the point is, that's a good example of a player who was confident with his game, obviously got some good advice from his old man and applied it. And he stuck around, and now he's got a monster deal.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed just watching him play. But that first year, he just didn't care. Like,
I know.
He didn't care who you were.
Now look at him. Look at him. He's a captain of an NHL team, and he's making a lot of money. He's not the sexiest skater, not the prettiest at handling a puck, but he's found his niche, and that's his game. And that's That's what this game's all about. There's so many players in the American League and overseas that I would skate with in the summertime that were just as skilled as some of the guys that, that were playing full time in the NHL. But it's all up here. It's the mental side, figuring out what your role is and sticking to it.
Yeah. I've always been told that, like, it becomes mental at that particular point.
Oh, big time.
Only way the difference is whether or not you can process information faster than the other guy.
And it's like you and Craig, like your photoshopping skills are absolutely dog shit. And Craig is so talented at what he does in editing that it makes you look like a house leaguer. And that's the difference.
Especially Doodling Daryl now too. He's getting in on it now too. So you better watch out, man. Everyone's coming after the gig.
But it's good. But I still try. I don't give up on the dream.
I know. I'm just messing around.
You're crushing my dream like my dad. You're never going to make it.
I think what Meth's saying is, like, it's okay to take a run at the veteran, but he might also put you on your ass. That's the other thing, right? You want to do it, but it may not work out for you. Yeah, you still got to do it. Yeah.
Fine. I'm going to keep going here. By the way, we're a month away from the start of training camp. So the excitement is going to continue to build here, and I'm looking forward to it. We're looking to continue to get more new faces onto the show here in the next little bit. So don't go anywhere. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel, and we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in to the Wally and Methot Show, brought to you by Ridge Rock Brewery.